Number 2, gospel realizing. Gospel realizing? At the end of Jonah chapter 2, when Jonah is in the bottom of the ocean, in the belly of the fish, he prays this repentance prayer to God, and at one point he says, or at the very end he says, salvation is of the Lord. Edmund Clowney has always said that Jonah chapter 2, verse 9, salvation is of the Lord, is the central verse of the Bible. The whole Bible is summed up there. Salvation is of the Lord, full stop. Grace. And here's what I remember Ed would always say. Edward would always, when he quoted Jonah 2:9, he would say, salvation is of the Lord. It's of the Lord. Now, why would he always repeat it? Why is it that Jonah, at the bottom of the ocean, in the belly of the fish, why is Jonah, a prophet, saying salvation is of the Lord as if this is a new idea for him? Didn't he already know that? And the answer is he did and he didn't. He did and he didn't. And what Ed Clowney was trying to get across is that if you think you really, really understand the gospel, you don't. If you really think that you haven't even begun to understand the gospel, you do. Gospel theologizing isn't anywhere near enough if we're going to change the world with it. There has to be a lifelong process of more and more deeply realizing the wonder of the gospel. You've probably heard me say this before, if you've heard me say anything before. Religion is, I obey, therefore I'm accepted. The gospel is, I'm accepted through what Jesus Christ has done for me, therefore I obey. Now, religion gives you control. That's why it's so popular. I remember one woman years ago, and I was trying to evangelize her, said, this is scary, this idea that everyone's saved by sheer grace. This is scary. I said, why is this so scary? She said, well, if I was saved by my works, I'd have some control. What do you mean? I asked. She said, if I was saved by my works, then I'm like a taxpayer. I've paid my dues, and there's a limit to what God could ask of me. I have rights. See? And I've worked very hard, and he can't just ask anything of me. But if I'm saved by sheer grace, she said, there's no limit to what he could ask of me. You know, that scary place at the end of the book, you know the movie, The Bible? The movie? Where they're depicting, I guess it's George C. Scott playing Abraham. And I don't like almost any other part of the movie, but at the very end, what's very moving is watching Abraham about to sacrifice Isaac. And when Isaac, the little boy Isaac, is laying there, getting ready to be sacrificed, and he's bound up, and he realizes what his father's doing. A little extra biblical Hollywood Ising of it, but it still moves me. Isaac looks up at him and realizes what's going on and says, Father, is there nothing he cannot ask of thee? And George C. Scott says, nothing. And this woman understood that if I was saved by my works, I'd still have some control. But if I'm saved by grace, there is nothing he cannot ask of me. This is the reason why when you receive the gospel, when you ace your justification by faith alone exam, when you say, I understand I'm saved by grace, not by works, and I ask Jesus into my heart, and I ask God to accept me because of what he has done, not what I have done. I want my relationship with God to be based not on my past, but Jesus' past, not on my record, but Jesus' record. I get it. No, you don't. I'll baptize you. You're a Christian. But you haven't even begun to get it.